In last week's episode we had arrived Le Havre and we toured around the coast of Normandy to visit some of the historical sites that played a huge part in ending of the World War II. Well, we did a little bit more than that, and we also got a view of the White Shark Cliffs in the north. Not a typical sailing episode, but then again sailing is about exploring the world in a slow way. And now it's slowed down more, as I had to replan for the future and I want to fill you in what's next. I mean, I've dreamt of the crystal clear turquoise water for 2 years and I got this. Not exactly the same. I have gotten some questions about what is next, and I thought I was going to fill you in instead of replying to each one of you. Even though it's very nice to see that you care so much. And as you all know, if you follow the channel, my plan was to come to the Mediterranean through the waterways, but now I ended up at the English Channel. So what am I gonna do? Am I gonna wait for the canals to possibly open if the water refills and make another try to come to Marseille? Am I gonna sail the coast up here and go back to Sweden? And no, neither of those alternatives. So I thought that I have already stepped them off, so taking it off again, possibly have a try and maybe have better water levels next year, but don't really know about it. That doesn't feel like an option, even though I would like to see the last part of the French canals. But also I've done about 85 logs and I'm pretty filled up with those, and it's going to be a lot of more logs if I continue that way. And sailing back to Sweden doesn't either feel like an option. I'm still longing for the warm weather, for the crystal clear turquoise blue waters, so I am going to continue south. I also decided I follow this other channel, you might want to check it out, Sailing Cadoa, and they are sailing in the southern part of UK, and it looks gorgeous, so I definitely would like to cross the channel from here and see a little bit of southern Britain, and then continue down France at the Brittany coast and towards Spain, Portugal, and then I don't really know. I guess I actually will enter the Mediterranean. That's like the plan since over 2 years, and I still longing to go there. But also it would be possible to continue even further south towards Canaries. So that I don't really know at the moment, but it's going to be a small jump a little bit north to Britain, or more west, I guess, northwest, and then south from here. But when I bought this boat, I did a lot of work with it, as you know, to prepare it to be more of a liveaboard boat, and that had worked really well for the canals. But sailing here in the English Channel and the Bay of Biscay is going to require a little bit more of the boat. So at the moment I am here in Le Havre in France, and I have to do a bit of more work. So that's basically it. And staying here is a pretty good solution for me. I've thought of a couple of different options, but I went to the inner harbor here in Le Havre. It's not like the crystal clear water place. It's not the most fancy place, but it's a very well protected harbor. It's already starting to come a little bit of fall storms, rains, so it seems to work very good here. Like the weather in France seems that it cannot decide what weather it wants to be. It's like super windy, blowing 35 knots, pouring rain, sun shines, still blowing, no wind, more wind, cloudiness, rain, sunny, and that in the same day. I'm totally confused. Like now it could be bikini weather. This morning it was pouring, I promise you, and it's hard to sleep because everything is rocking and banging, but still I'm at the dock and not at the anchorage, so pretty happy. It's affordable, and the harbor office speaks English, which is very, very good for me. I was thinking about maybe even put the boat in Rouen, but it wasn't so easy for me there because nobody would speak to me. Normally actually in France, even if people don't speak English, they try their best with Google Translate and putting on a smile and everything like that, but not really in Rouen, except for the crane guy, but that's a different company. And what work do I have to do? It's a bit of safety things. I put the life raft on the boat even before leaving Sweden, which probably is not necessary for going at the canals, but I thought like then she's prepared for the Mediterranean and I can do more of ocean crossing passages. So that's one thing that I'm really, really happy I did. But I also, for example, want an EPIRB on the boat. That's a really valuable emergency equipment, and I've actually ordered one, but this is France, so you never know how long it's going to take for something to arrive. I'll be waiting quite some time. Chronopost, you do a bad job. Sorry. There's also some fixes that I'm kind of starting up, and I have some half-finished things that wasn't important at the moment, and then I just realized I also have to sail a bit, not only work with the boat. So there are some things to finish up. You will see in the upcoming episodes. For example, if you've seen my previous episode, you know my solar panel broke, and I also realized I do need a little bit more solar power, so I'm gonna upgrade that system. I find it to be a very good place to stay a little longer, and it's a city the size of, you can get almost everything here, but it's small, so you don't have to have a car to get around. And some of you might wonder about like the time frame, and actually I don't really know. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but I also enjoy staying at places. I stayed quite a while in Germany before, and I long stayed a couple of places in Sweden, and I do enjoy, you know, I like to get to know people, get to know the culture a little bit more, not just being a traveler that moves on and on and on. So when I live someplace for a while, I make friends, I got to see a bit of the everyday society. So I also want to take you to that, because I really enjoy this town. It is, it's not a typical French town here, but I'm going to tell you more about that in some later episode and guide you around a little bit, because I think this is a place that you might want to come and see. It's not the typical weekend place or something, at least not for a Swedish person. I've never heard of it like that before. I want to deeply thank my Patreons for supporting the making of these episodes, and if you want to contribute, you can also become a Patreon or buy me a coffee at the links below. If you haven't already, subscribe so you don't miss out. And if you appreciated this episode, please give it a big thumbs up.